July 1941, Better Homes and Gardens. Mrs. Walker wins a prize for inventing this paradise cake. The magazine reads, Mrs. E. M. Walker just can't resist experimenting with recipes. Her prize-winning paradise cake combines an old family cake recipe with a heavenly new filling of her own. In July 1941, America was on the brink of entering World War II. While the U.S. was still neutral, it was heavily aiding Allied forces through the Lend-Lease Act. Tensions were high, especially with Japan, as the U.S. imposed oil embargoes and war seemed inevitable. On the home front, Americans were growing concerned about rising food prices. The war in Europe had disrupted global trade, and as the U.S. ramped up production to support the Allies, inflation and shortages loomed. People feared rationing and price spikes, which led to calls for government intervention to control costs and prevent wartime profiteering. Now let's see what a pre-war cake would taste like. First, you need a big bowl, and you're going to take some shortening, 2/3 cup of shortening, the most vintage of ingredients. Man, they used it in everything back then. I don't think it's very good for you, but it sure does taste good. Look at this cute ad from 1938 for Crisco. You're going to mix it all together, then you're going to add your sugar. This is a very sweet cake. So you're going to add 1.5 cups of sugar just into the cake. You're going to add 2 eggs. Just ignore me talking on there. I messed up my audio. So now you get to hear this. Now you're going to add some lemon extract. I've never used lemon extract before, but it smells really good. 1 teaspoon of lemon extract. Mix it up. And then you're going to add in your baking powder and your salt. 2/3 teaspoon salt, 3 teaspoons of baking powder. Add in half of your flour and mix it up. You're going to need 2.5 cups of flour. You're just going to add the flour a bit at a time so it's easier to mix in. This is a really dense cake. Very dense, very sweet. In my opinion, it does not need so much sugar. And you're going to add in your milk. I used coconut milk because I'm dairy free. Lactose intolerance is so fun. You're going to have 3/4 cups of milk. Use whatever milk you like. Then you're going to fill 2 cake pans. It calls for 9-inch cake pans. I just used what I had. 1 little heart dude and a little circle guy. This is a layered cake, so the next thing we're going to do is create a layer of fruit stuff, fruit filling to put in the middle, and that's the paradise. Now you're going to cook this on 375 in your fancy oven for 25 minutes. Don't burn it. That's my puppy Maisel. She's so precious. Now we're going to soak these apricots, dried apricots, 1 cup of dried apricots. You soak them in water for an hour, and then you're going to boil them for 2 minutes till they get soft. Take them off the heat, drain the water, and I decided to chop mine up into little bits. I don't really like dried fruit. I think it's disgusting, but this is what the recipe called for. I think it's the hint of paradise. Back in the day, they may have not had access to fresh fruit at all times like we do. We have access to fresh fruit like all year round, it seems like, a lot of the time, depending on where you live. So they used dried fruit a lot of the time in their recipes. Little interesting tidbit of history. So you're going to smash up bananas. This calls for 4 bananas. You're going to smash up 4 bananas and mix in your apricots with some lemon juice. And I didn't have 4 bananas, so I used a peach. So mine has 1 smashed up peach, 3 smashed up bananas, and the dried apricots. You're going to pour it into a pot and put it over this boiler thing. Well, I didn't have one of those, so I just used 2 pots, which worked just fine. Like I said, I don't bake a lot. So you're going to cook it till it turns to a mush. Heat it till it turns to a mush. You're also going to add cornstarch to it. I forgot to say that. So a little bit of cornstarch to thicken it up, a tablespoon and a half. And it also calls for 1.5 cups of powdered sugar. So there's a lot of sugar in this cake. And then you're gonna put the filling in between the two cakes. Mine got kind of sloppy. I probably should have let it cool longer so it thickened up, but I didn't. And then I just put it on top and in the middle because I had extra. And then you're gonna top it with some shredded coconut, which they seem to like to use a lot back then too. So a little more sugar to the top. Look at how beautiful it is. It looks like a slice of paradise. Let's see what it tastes like. It smelled good. It smelled like lemon and citrus and peaches and bananas and sugar cookie. The cake was super dense, kind of like a thick sugar cookie cake. And the filling was really tasty, but oh my gosh, was this a sweet cake. It really shows you pre-war how they used sugar. And I think that they used a lot more sugar in their desserts than they did after wartime. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video has been as educational and fun for you as it has been for me. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe for more vintage recipes, history, and crafts from my collection of vintage magazines. And if you have any vintage recipes you'd like to see me recreate, feel free to send them my way. You can reach me at alittle-love-design-co@gmail.com. Until next time, happy cooking!